In the Moscow region, there has been a blackout. More than 100,000 people were left without electricity, and almost simultaneously, combat drones were detected over Moscow. They reached their target area. This is not an exercise. This is not a simulation. This is a fact. The Kremlin claims there was an attempt to attack the residence of Vladimir Putin in the Valdai region. Ukraine calls this a fake. Volodymyr Zelensky states directly that Moscow is lying in order to disrupt peace negotiations. On the same day, there was a strange signal from the Moscow region. The military radio station UVB-76, which many call the Doomsday Station, for the first time in decades transmitted not codes but music. Swan Lake. Why? While Russia is discussing attacks and signals, Germany is facing the largest robbery in recent years. Tens of millions of euros were stolen, all under the cover of the Christmas holidays. At the other end of Europe, the English Channel came to a halt. Trains between London, Paris, and Amsterdam were not running. The reason was a failure in the power supply system. Iran is once again on the brink. Protests, the currency exchange rate is collapsing, and the authorities are for the first time ready to listen to demands, up to and including a change of regime. All of this did not happen over a month. All of this happened in a single day, and we will examine each piece of news separately. Now, on Tuesday evening, a large-scale power outage occurred in the Moscow region. According to official information from the company Rosetti Moscow region, disruptions were recorded in Zhukovsky, Litkarino, and Ramenskoye. More than 100,000 people were left without electricity. The causes of the incident vary. According to preliminary data, it was a short circuit or a fire on bus bars at one of the energy facilities. Alternative sources report a possible strike on a high-voltage substation in Ramenskoye as a result of a drone attack. These data have not been officially confirmed. At the same time, drones were detected in the sky over Moscow. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin stated that air defense systems destroyed 5 unmanned aerial vehicles approaching the capital. According to him, there were no casualties or damage. However, during the incident, restrictions were introduced at Vnukovo Airport on the arrival and departure of flights. Whether the mass power outage and the drone flights are connected has not been officially clarified. Telegram channels continue to publish versions of a targeted strike on the energy system. Emergency services and the Ministry of Defense are not commenting on the situation. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky issued a public statement in which he called false the Kremlin's claims about an alleged attack by Ukrainian drones on the residence of the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, in the Valdai area. According to Zelensky, Kyiv did not carry out such actions and considers Moscow's statements an attempt to derail the peace negotiation process. He emphasized that the Ukrainian side is actively working on diplomatic steps together with European partners and the United States of America. Quote, Russia, which does not want any positivity for anyone in this format, makes such accusations. This is a fact. They shell our cities, our people, our infrastructure every day, and at the same time they claim that allegedly we are attacking residences. Where is the evidence? In addition, Volodymyr Zelensky expressed bewilderment at the position of a number of countries such as India and the United Arab Emirates, which, according to him, condemned a non-existent Ukrainian attack, but do not speak out about the regular strikes against Ukraine's civilian population. The United States ambassador to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, Matthew Whitaker, stated that information about an attack on a residence requires verification. He called the unconfirmed attack unconstructive and inappropriate, especially against the background of the progress achieved in negotiations between the sides. Whitaker also noted that, according to their intelligence, negotiations on a peace agreement have advanced by 90 to 95%. The Ukrainian side asserts that the real goal of such statements from Moscow is to create an informational pretext for pressure and to disrupt the political process. At the present moment, none of the international intelligence services has confirmed the fact of an attack on the Valdai residence. On Tuesday afternoon, on the frequency of 782 kHz, an anomalous broadcast was recorded from the Russian military radio station UVB-76. This station is known by the unofficial name the Doomsday Station. Its transmitter is located in the Moscow region and has been operating since the beginning of the 1970s of the last century. Usually, a monotonous buzzing sound is heard on the air, repeating at a frequency of approximately 25 times per minute. Periodically, the signal is interrupted, after which voice messages follow with sequences of numbers and words, presumably encoded. This time, instead of the signal in codes, music went on the air. First, Swan Lake by Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky was played, a work that in Russian history has repeatedly been used as a signal of extraordinary political events. events. In particular, it was exactly this piece that was broadcast on television during the August coup in 1991. Immediately after Swan Lake, several musical compositions were transmitted, including marches, tracks popular among supporters of military action against Ukraine, and even satirical songs. Among them were the song The Dog Drummer and a parody version of The Bremen Town Musicians, containing calls for aggression. What exactly such a broadcast meant has not been officially explained. The Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation and representatives of the main radio frequency center did not comment on the situation. Among observers and radio amateurs, a heated discussion began about whether this was a hidden signal within a closed military system or a demonstration of a technical malfunction. Many associate the unusual transmission with the perimeter system, also known as the Dead Hand, an automated complex which, in the event of a large-scale attack on the Russian Federation, is capable of independently issuing the command to launch nuclear weapons. At the present moment, the broadcast of the Doomsday Station has returned to its normal mode. The buzzing continues, and no voice messages have been received. In the German city of Gelsenkirchen, located in the federal state of North Rhine-Westphalia, a major robbery took place at a Sparkasse bank. The incident occurred during the Christmas holidays, when most institutions in Germany closed from the evening of the 24th of December. The criminals entered the bank building through a concrete wall, taking advantage of the fact that the premises were unguarded and the alarm system did not activate. The perpetrators broke open several thousand individual safety deposit boxes, from which large sums of cash, jewelry, and other valuables were stolen. The total amount of damage is estimated at tens of millions of euros. According to police assessments, it is an 8-digit sum. The robbery went unnoticed for 5 days. Only on the morning of the 29th of December did a fire alarm go off, after which emergency services arrived at the scene. At that point, bank employees discovered the damage and the breached vaults. The following day, dozens of angry clients gathered outside the Sparkasse building, demanding access to check the condition of their deposit boxes. Many stated that they had stored pension savings, family valuables, documents, and gold in the bank. A quote from one of the victims reads, "I have had a safety deposit box here for 25 years. I trusted the bank. Now I cannot sleep at night. No one tells us anything. They do not even publish a list of the opened boxes. This is a disgrace." Police confirmed that on the eve of the robbery, witnesses saw several men with large bags in a neighboring parking structure. Reports were also received about a black Audi RS6 with fake license plates previously stolen in the city of Hanover. The vehicle left the scene of the crime early on Monday morning. The investigation is ongoing. As of the time of publication, the bank had not provided precise information on the number of affected clients or a detailed list of the stolen property. On Tuesday, the company Eurostar temporarily halted all train traffic through the Channel Tunnel between France and the United Kingdom. The cause was a failure in the power supply system inside the underground transport corridors. The incident occurred at the height of holiday travel, during the period between Catholic Christmas and the New Year, when the load on transport lines reaches peak levels. Rail services on the London-Paris, London-Amsterdam, and London-Brussels routes were completely paralyzed for several hours. At the main stations in both capitals, the Gare du Nord in Paris and St. Pancras in London, hundreds of passengers began to gather from early morning. People complained about the lack of information, the inability to reach their destinations, and the disruption of holiday plans. The tunnel operator, the company Getlink, officially stated that the malfunction was related to technical problems in the power supply system. The company also reported that no signs of external interference or sabotage were found. Despite the rapid response of repair teams, train traffic was only partially restored by the middle of the day. Services continued to operate with disruptions. Some trains were canceled, while others departed with delays of several hours. Passengers who missed their flights were forced to look for alternative ways to reach their destinations. Hotels near railway stations were overcrowded, and many travelers had to spend the night directly inside station buildings. The Channel Tunnel is one of Europe's key transport routes. It connects the United Kingdom with continental Europe, serving both passenger trains and freight traffic. Such disruptions are extremely rare, which drew particular attention to the incidents amid the broader instability affecting the region's transport system. In Iran, mass protests have flared up once again. The trigger was a sharp devaluation of the national currency, the Iranian rial, against the backdrop of an ongoing economic crisis and international sanctions. The exchange rate reached a historic low. One United States dollar was worth approximately 1,390,000 Iranian rials. Protests spread across Tehran, major cities, and regions. Not only young people and activists took part, but also representatives of the business community, in particular traders from the Grand Bazaar of the capital, one of the country's main commercial centers. Demonstrations took place on Sunday and Monday. Reports emerged of street blockades, clashes with police, and the closure of central squares. In response to the wave of discontent, the head of the Central Bank of Iran resigned. Late on Monday evening, President Masoud Pezeshkian released a statement instructing the Minister of Interior to begin dialogue with representatives of the protesters. Government spokesperson Fatemeh Mohajerani confirmed that a negotiation mechanism would be created with the aim of reducing social tension. The official position stated, "Even if harsh voices are heard, we will listen. The people are patient, but when they take to the streets, it is a signal that pressure has reached a critical point. Our task is to hear this voice and find a solution." The authorities also emphasized that they acknowledge existing difficulties and reaffirmed citizens' right to peaceful assembly, in accordance with the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Iran. This is the first time in recent years that the country's leadership has openly acknowledged protests and declared its readiness to discuss political changes. Some analysts link the statement to the depth of the economic crisis and the need to prevent the radicalization of mass demonstrations. All of these events did not unfold over a long period. They occurred within a single day. This is not just a flow of news. These are signs of deep processes that are shaping the reality around us. Local crises are no longer local. Decisions in one region resonate in another, and what once seemed like an exception is becoming the norm. Thank you for watching until the end. Stay with us. Support the program if it matters to you to understand what is happening without filters or evasions. See you in the next episode.